Crawford throwing his hat in to want to fight Canelo at 168.
I mean, everybody wants to fight Canelo. It's the money fight. You know what I mean? I think even Inoue would come up to fight Canelo. Canelo wanted to fight him. I mean, I don't want to see Crawford to fight.
David Benavidez has long set his sights on a fight with Canelo Alvarez, but he's now shared his thoughts on the possibility of Canelo facing Terence Crawford instead. While Benavidez isn't shy about praising Crawford as one of the greatest fighters of all time, he firmly believes Canelo would have the upper hand in such a matchup. In fact, Benavidez suggests that Crawford would stand little chance and might even get knocked out.
A fight with you and Terence Crawford, it would be one of the biggest in boxing.
We don't talking about yet about the fight. Me and Tukanach know each other, and then we wanna.
Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford are two of boxing's biggest stars, both dominating their divisions as pound-for-pound greats. Canelo has achieved undisputed champion status at super middleweight and held titles at middleweight and light heavyweight. With over 50 fights and only 2 losses, one to Floyd Mayweather early in his career and another to Dmitry Bivol in 2022 at light heavyweight, Canelo's impressive resume speaks volumes. His strength, skill, and experience make him one of the most formidable fighters in the sport.
David Benavidez said he want to fight Terence Crawford and get back for his brother. Terence Crawford ain't trying to do that shit, and this is the conundrum, right? A lot of people say, well, Terence Crawford wants to fight Canelo Alvarez.
Terence Crawford, on the other hand, has never known defeat. A 2-time undisputed champion at lightweight and welterweight, he cemented his legacy as one of the greatest of his era after defeating Errol Spence Jr. in 2023. Crawford continued to make history in August 2024 with a successful debut at 154 pounds, capturing the WBA light middleweight title from Israel Madrimov, making him a champion in 4 weight classes. Despite his incredible achievements, David Benavidez remains skeptical about how well Crawford's skills would hold up against a bigger, more experienced fighter like Canelo Alvarez.
I mean, I can't really say nothing about that. If that's what he wants to do, then that's what he's going to do. Canelo is a man that he does anything he wants to do. I don't think really what people say affects him. But I feel like the people, they want to see David Benavidez versus Canelo Alvarez. It's the biggest fight to make happen. And I feel
David Benavidez didn't hold back when discussing a potential Canelo versus Crawford matchup. While he acknowledged Crawford's brilliance as a technical genius in the ring, Benavidez emphasized the risks of moving up too many weight classes, even for a fighter as skilled as Crawford. Crawford is one of the best technical fighters I've ever seen, Benavidez said. But when he moved to 154, I'm not saying he struggled, but he didn't seem to have the same power he had at 147. Now imagine jumping to 168. That's a huge leap. Weight classes exist for a reason, and I'd give Canelo the edge in this fight.
Crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won. He went up and lost. You know, so let's not.
The weight difference is the biggest challenge in this potential matchup. Canelo is naturally the bigger fighter and has proven his ability to handle larger opponents, even at light heavyweight. Crawford, on the other hand, is still adjusting to higher weight classes. While his win at 154 pounds was impressive, jumping to 168 is a significant leap, especially against a seasoned super middleweight like Canelo. Benavidez believes Canelo's size, power, and experience would simply be too much for Crawford to overcome.
Why would Canelo fight Benavidez, who's relatively unknown? And Benavidez beats him, and Benavidez becomes overnight a superstar. That's Canelo's letting Benavidez make a name off of it.
If Crawford were to fight Canelo at 168, it would mark his debut in that weight class, a daunting challenge, especially against someone like Canelo, who has mastered the division. Canelo's been fighting bigger guys and is accustomed to the power and speed at that weight, Benavidez explained. Crawford might be the best at 147 and even at 154, but 168 is a different story. Canelo's dominance at super middleweight is undeniable. He has been the king of the division, consistently proving why he's considered one of the sport's greatest. His most recent fight in September against Edgar Berlanga Jr. showcased his continued superiority as he defended his titles with ease, winning on points in front of a packed crowd at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. With his combination of power, precision, and ring IQ, Canelo remains a nightmare opponent for anyone who steps into the ring with him.
Listen, dog, Crawford fans, I've been trying to say this, dog. Canelo at 168 is all wrong for Crawford, dog.
Benavidez is confident that Canelo's experience would be a decisive factor in a fight against Crawford. Canelo has been in the ring with so many great fighters. He knows how to handle different styles and adapt, Benavidez said. Crawford might be great, but he hasn't faced anyone like Canelo. The experience gap would be huge, and that would make a big difference. Benavidez also questioned whether Crawford's power would carry to the higher weight class. At 147, Crawford was known for his ability to finish fights, but his power seemed less effective at 154. Moving up to 168 would make it even harder to hurt a fighter like Canelo, who has faced and beaten some of boxing's hardest hitters. Canelo can take a punch, Benavidez noted. He's fought guys who hit a lot harder than Crawford, and he's handled it. Crawford would have to fight the perfect fight just to have a chance.
You can say who you think is going to win. You can't say like, oh man, I'm surprised the Bibble won, or I'm surprised the Benavidez won. You're like, man, that's a damn good fight. So-and-so won. So kind of how I feel about the David and Canelo fight. Like,
Benavidez isn't shy about the possibility of Canelo knocking Crawford out. He believes if Crawford can't keep Canelo off him, it's only a matter of time before the Mexican superstar lands a decisive shot that ends the fight. Canelo's power is real, Benavidez said. If he catches Crawford clean, it could be over. I'm not saying Crawford isn't tough, but Canelo is on another level when it comes to power and finishing ability. I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo puts Crawford to sleep. While the idea of Canelo knocking out Crawford might seem far-fetched to some, it's a scenario that can't be dismissed. Canelo has consistently shown that he has the ability to end fights with a single punch.
Do we get a knockdown from Canelo, or does Bud knock down Canelo?
Nah, Canelo's not going down. You could hit Canelo with a Louisville slugger. He's just going to smile at you.
They ain't say gonna beat him like the beat.
Canelo's body shots are brutal, and his hooks are devastating. If Crawford can't find a way to handle Canelo's power, it could be a long, and potentially very short, night for the undefeated American. While the fight isn't confirmed yet, rumors continue to swirl about a potential showdown in 2025. Both fighters seem interested in making it happen, and fans are eager to see two of the best in the sport go head-to-head. However, as Benavidez pointed out, the weight difference could be the deciding factor. It's not just about skill, Benavidez said. It's about size, power, and experience. Canelo has all of that on his side. Crawford might be great, but this is a whole different challenge.
In boxing, you know what I'm saying? And Terence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that, you know, is his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody and probably.
In the end, Benavidez's prediction is clear. Canelo would come out on top if the fight happens. The weight, power, and experience all favor the Mexican superstar. For Crawford, it would be the ultimate test, a chance to prove he can compete with the best, regardless of weight class. But as Canelo himself said, weight classes exist for a reason. Deontay Wilder's take on Terence Crawford moving up to fight Canelo carries the weight of experience from someone who has faced bigger fighters. Wilder acknowledges Crawford's exceptional skill, but stresses that the jump from 147 to 168 is more than just a numbers game. It's about handling the physicality of larger opponents. Wilder compared smaller fighters moving up in weight to a baby when facing heavier opponents, emphasizing that the impact of punches changes with weight, making it harder for smaller fighters to absorb or deliver effective punishment. This point is underscored by Canelo's track record. He has fought some of the toughest men in boxing, including light heavyweights like Sergey Kovalev and Dmitry Bivol, and rarely shows signs of being overpowered. Known for his granite chin, Canelo has never been dropped, even against hard-hitting opponents at higher weights. For Crawford, who is still adjusting to super welterweight, facing a fighter who has ruled the super middleweight division for years is a daunting challenge. The difference in their natural size was evident at their last weigh-in, with Canelo holding a solid 14-pound advantage over Crawford. no small gap, especially against a powerful and physically imposing fighter like Canelo.
Need 3 times your normal pay. Crawford is easy. In my weight class, it's an easy fight, but give me 3 times what I normally make. Benavidez is...
As the world waits to see if the fight comes to fruition, Terence Crawford has a Hall of Fame legend in his corner, offering both moral support and technical guidance. James Toney, a former 3-weight world champion known for his exceptional skills, is eager to train Crawford for what he calls the biggest fight in boxing today. Toney's confidence in Crawford is evident in his bold statements, even going so far as to dismiss Canelo outright. Canelo can be knocked out. He ain't all that, Toney said, adding his own colorful flair by claiming he could teach Crawford how to fry Canelo in the ring.
The sweet scientist threw him the alley-oop. He said, I don't want that. I don't want the excuses. Just give me the money and I'll beat him tomorrow. But you want 4 times what you get paid to fight that.